Welcome to Thursday, February 17th. It's a day where there are sports. There are 3 sports especially that we do algorithms for every day. NBA, which is annoying, man. I'll talk about that in a minute. NHL, which is a lot of fun because I play that game. And college basketball, which is a lot of fun because it has days with like 65 games like today. And there's a lot to choose from. But let's start with NBA. We've got 10 minutes. We're on the clock, everybody. Okay, we're on the clock. And we're going to do this right. Here's my complaint about NBA, and I'm going to do it in under 30 seconds. This right here, the standings distribution, needs to be worked on. I mean, it looks too standard and normal anyway. I could try to emulate something that's in college basketball, but it's a different game, and you have different stats, and we need a different distribution. There's different stuff. So point is I need to put in effort to reverse engineer this and to go back and look at previous days' projections and how they would have changed. And I also need to incorporate health percentage somehow into the score. That's really complicated. You know what? I'm not an NBA fan. So that was 30 seconds. There's people, not too many people actually. There's Waddell. Waddell's awesome. Waddell is cool and likes to go over this every day. And I really do it for him basically because he's the only one who pays me every day for this. But it's going to take a lot of time and effort and me caring to do this right. You can do it. You guys can just mess around, start changing around percentages and refreshing previous days because this has a history in here. And see that like on yesterday, it's 6-5. Yes, you also have to do one thing, which is pull down the formula percentage here. Like wherever there's a formula, you got to bring it all the way down, and then the powers will change. And we'll see what happens here. So it was 6-5 yesterday. Instead, it ends up being still 6-5, but stuff moves around. So whenever you change this, we'll go back up, way up. Whenever you change this, then that's what happens. All right, so that requires a lot of work, and I just don't have the effort. I already put 2 minutes into the video because I don't really care about NBA. But that's the look for the day. Bye-bye NBA. Next, let's go with college basketball because I only care about it because it's so fun to pick winners on here, and they pay really great. All right, so we got 60-something games today so far, if I updated right. Are there any home underdogs? This is, of course, not. Regular underdog. Just for 5 seconds. The astonishing fact that there's never a home underdog with the algorithm. When there are underdogs, look at this. There's like this many underdogs. It means that the odds makers are obviously using this. And how can you not? Because it works so darn well. All right, anyway, so there's underdogs. Do we care about them? Remember, people are asking me how to read this thing. Oh my God, it's complicated as hell. You're right. Keep going back through old videos because I talk about each one of these categories along the way. There's a lot out there. But for the purposes of just quickly browsing, because I just want to glance at this and maybe make a bunch of bets. Whenever the opponent health is super bad and red, it's a low number. It means the opponent has a lot of people that are hurting. Same thing would apply for if the health of this team is low, then the team of reference, or the team we're talking about betting, that the line and the spread are related to the team of reference here. Okay? These are all related to that. And the margins, team of reference, the spread covers team of reference, and the powers team of reference. The projected score of the team of reference here, the opponent is here. And same with games. So I think it's pretty easy to read when you say, all right, well, I want teams that have a high margin, which is why I've sorted this list descending by margin, so that the best teams are supposed to show up at the top. And then I look at the health stuff, and I'm like, all right, well, East Carolina, I hate, what's the spread? Only 2? So, yeah, this is a quality pick because South Florida's hurt, and East Carolina, even though their strength of schedule is not as good, this is the strength of the schedule of the team of reference. And then the opponent's strength of schedule, I don't know what I did, the DF. Oh, yeah, I did some type of factor or something to make this thing happen. And then, so this number right here, which kind of should be bold because it matters the most in my opinion, is this strength of schedule differential, which, let's do something like this. Yeah, so this thing, if it's green, means this team has played better teams, so their stats should be weighted more. Now, I don't bet on Oral Roberts because I've seen them blow ridiculous games at ridiculous lines, but that's just me historically. Anyway, so I don't want to spend too much time on this because I haven't really looked it over. There's a ton of games. You're going to want to focus on home teams. You're going to want to try to find decent lines and look for those health disparities, right? And also look the other way, also, which is Houston is hurting against Central Florida. So they're minus 1,000 and they only got a quarter of their team. So that means Central Florida plus 13.5 is my opinion, because they're healthier. And when you see something like this, weird stuff happens. And how can you cover 13 or 14 points when you're missing a quarter of your team? They probably only cover 8 points. Let's do the math on it or whatever, right? So anyway, interesting stuff as always. You can go purchase these for $25 and start updating them yourself with a Rotowire subscription. Let's spend the rest of the time talking about hockey. I hit a couple of nice shots of the day off the post yesterday. Yesterday we had a win for the win for Calgary, the number one pick of the day. Look at that. So the hockey one's a little different when you're reading it, because you've got weird stuff going on with a power projected score and a regular projected score, and then the final ends up happening in the middle. This is actually the true projected score of the game, like the smart, like reasonable, where nobody scores like 12 goals in a game. This is the reasonable one. This is what happens when you start to incorporate goalies more, like comparing the goalie versus goalie comparison, and you start to take into account streaks that the team is on over the last several days or months. And you've had an all-star break in here and weird COVID scheduling and stuff, so this is all screwed up. So the power projected score is kind of a mess right now. But it's just nice to look at because it said, this was a complete blowout, and it was a blowout. They actually pulled Gibson, I think, at some point in this game because he had 4 goals in like the second period. So it's nice to see that. Here, Colorado didn't score as much. Brisson played okay. Brisson, right? Even though I talk trash about him. But and Minnesota was the one that lost. That's the game that lost here yesterday. All right, let's go. We got 3 minutes. Let's do today. A lot of games today. So I'm not going to go through a lot of updating stuff because it's a pain in the ass, but you do want to update goalies right here from Rotowire, and you do a copy paste now here, this link here, and you copy the standings from that website. Anyway, which is like Sports Reference, I think. So quickly, pick rank. That's the number one pick of the day is going to be St. Louis with Ville Husso. He's got a nice goalie rating. Whenever he plays, he seems to win. Montreal. I'm a huge Martin St. Louis fan. We'll see how they do, but they've got a lot of work to do. As you can see, this looks ugly. So St. Louis putting up some goals, like over 3.5 goals. Montreal not scoring many either is another one. You could do the -1.5. Once you start getting into -1.5 stuff on round robins, you got to get lucky with that, I feel like. And just to win, obviously, on a big round robin or parlay is what you want there. At only -250, I've seen worse lines for games that are that lopsided. All right, next, with 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. Ottawa versus Buffalo. Well, let's just go in the order of the pick ranks. Because that's really what you should be betting is the pick ranks down. And once the margin here starts to get really close like this, I think of betting the tie, actually. Because the tie has great odds, and it's saying the game is super close when the margin here is close and when the score is close, especially when they both really agree. Here, the score doesn't totally agree, although it gets closer here. It says more than a goal for Boston, so it's kind of like that's not the best one for the tie. Which one is this one better? Anaheim and Edmonton. A high-scoring tie. Anyway, all right. Minute left. Pick number 2. Sorry, let's go in order. Pick number 2. It's right here. Oh, it's good old Capodilis. Samsonov confirmed. Working on his English. Trying to play. I like him. These kind of games, save percentage games, are going to move goalie percentages. I might even start altering the goalie percentage a little bit because I feel like it's becoming a little stagnant. I mean, you've got these 75ers, and I got to find out. I'm using save percentage so much here in the distribution with 30 seconds left. I should mess around with this a little bit, and we can start changing goalie ratings, but we don't have time for that. So it likes Washington. What's the line there? Only -175 because it's a Philly team that really has a lot of trouble this year. Pick number 4 is Winnipeg over Seattle. Winnipeg just played well and upset Minnesota last night. Pick number 3 is the Rangers in Detroit with 5 seconds left. Anyway, you can buy these and go through all this yourself because you can see not even all the goalies are confirmed. All right, good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.